How did you find your way? So first you started, on TV, then you got into beauty, and now you teach Kabbalah online. So how did this all start? Take me to the beginning.
Beauty has always been a way for me to regulate my emotions. I used to sit in the bathroom for hours, not just for the product aspect of it, but I loved the space. I loved the coolness of a bathroom. I love how it made me feel grounded. And products were really just the aftermath of how I felt in that moment, because I didn't know what regulate my emotions meant as a child. I didn't even understand what that meant. I just knew in that space I felt more at peace. And through that, and coming from a Kabbalistic family on my father's side, I remember being on TV when I was living in LA. I was doing Steve Harvey, Access E! News, and I loved the educational side of beauty. But what I was realizing was that there were women who were either obsessed with aesthetics or obsessed with mental health. And I said, wait a second, I have an opportunity to bridge the both of them. So for me, being in the motivational space for women, it became more than just, how do I educate women on how to use a product or the science behind it or the education? How can I take that and then implement all these spiritual tools that I've learned through my journey and basically bridge the two together?
Did you feel safe in childhood?
Yes and no. I grew up in a rather tough environment. I grew up in Israel till I was 7, and then I left with my mom and my sister and came back to the States. And my mom did the best she could. She was getting a master's degree from NYU while working at a jail with 2 daughters. So she was constantly stressed. She was working a lot, and that's where I get my work ethic from, for sure. But being a single mother with 2 children is very challenging.
And 2 little girls.
And 2 little girls. So feeling safe was something that I really had to learn on my own. And that's why coming into what I do now, helping women find that within themselves, and actually hopefully needing me less as time goes on, and really learning how to tune into themselves and find their own intuition and their own North Star, and then using me more as just like a check-in, if you will.
How do you think women listening to this, when a lot of people have had turbulent childhoods like you and I have, and we didn't feel safe and secure, and we had to self-soothe ourselves while growing up and be sometimes our own person to calm ourselves down, what are some tools that you can give women listening to regulate themselves and feel safe or check in with themselves?
Sure. So I do this quite often, whether I'm corporate coaching or coaching one-on-one, because I understand that finances can get tough and people are like, what can I do for free? And there's so many things that you can do for free that cost absolutely $0. First and foremost, you need to have a spiritual practice, and you need to do that in the comfort of your own home if you don't have outside resources. Second, you need to do something physical every single day. Moving the body is not just scientifically proven to help you, it's also spiritually proven, it's mentally proven. So I do both of those things every single day. What I do at home in the morning is I pray, and prayer does not have to necessarily be religious. Prayer is a tool. It's a form of technology to connect to something other than yourself, other than your physical 3D. It's a way to connect higher. So I pray every single morning, then I do my whole supplement routine, coffee, and then what I do is I physically ground myself. People hear these things all the time. They hear about grounding yourself, but they don't remember that grounding yourself physically on the floor, preferably on actual ground, helps rewire and soothe the nervous system. So that's why it's imperative to do in your routine. And I'm not talking about, some of these online experts or spiritual advisors or health advisors. I know women don't have an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours every single day. I'm a working mom. You're a working woman. You have an entire team. Sometimes you don't have that. And that's why I call it pockets of peace throughout my day. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, finding gratitude in even that sip of coffee, right? When I'm driving after my morning routine, in between meetings, whatever, even on my way here, I talk to the universe. I speak out loud. I visualize where I'm going to be. I visualize myself on a stage that I want to be on in 6 months. So there's ways to create these moments of routine without it feeling overwhelming to the system.
And at what point do you think you became really religious or spiritual? Was it always part of your daily practice and who you were?
What's interesting is there's a significant difference between religion and spirituality, and I honor and respect both. I think there's a time and a place for everything, and it doesn't matter what religion you are, no matter what walk of life. If religion speaks to you, that is beautiful, and you should really always, again, listen to your intuition. If something speaks to you, do it. What's different about religion and spirituality is religion asks you to look outside of yourself for answers. What spirituality asks you to do is to turn inward and to trust your own self. And this is what women struggle with the most. They don't listen to themselves. They will call every friend. They will call their therapist. They will call the mother's friend, aunt, but they're not listening to themselves.
And why do you think that is? What's gone wrong when it comes to our society?
It's not even about what's gone wrong. It's a muscle that you have to train. It's like working out. In fact, the more spiritual you become, the harder it is because you're constantly recalibrating. I'm moving through my day. I'm like, whoa, why'd I just say that? Pull back, rewind, recalibrate. Oh, that really just triggered me. Oh, okay, everything's a mirror, everything's a test. Rewind, pull back, recalibrate. So it's really just a muscle that you constantly have to train.
I have this theory that, and you tell me if you agree with it or not, I think when it comes to the Western world, we have initiated into these women this go, go, go culture that
Sure.
they move so far away from their intuition, who they are, being safe, feeling secure in their body, having those perfectly defined even gender roles that allow women to show up in their feminine essence and that polarity between men and women. And I think because we are so far away of what our true self should be and really what our feminine is, the energy of receiving, intuition, guidance.
I just did
feel
a video on
that's-
that literally the other day.
I feel like that's really thrown us off. And that's
Yeah.
why we're so confused, running around like hamsters in a wheel, being like, let me call you, let me call the other person, because we need other people to validate what we already know inside.
Correct. And we also need to remember what works for me doesn't work for you. What works for you doesn't work for her. And it's important to understand that it's actually really, I've learned in my coaching journey, whether it's corporate, whether it's one-on-one, when someone is asking for advice, it's actually good to not give advice because you could alter their free will and alter their course. And that person is intended to go down that path regardless of if it's appropriate for you or not. So what I like to do is I like to get them to actually answer everything on their own because they already know. We always already know.
And that's what I love about the work and the content that you put out. It's about this journey back to yourself. And I think that's what we're all on, right? When you dive into spirituality, it's always going home to you.
Always.
And each one of us is at a different place of consciousness depending on the journey that our soul has chosen to come on this earth and go through, which is why certain relationships have their duration and then they die out because you either outgrow each other or you take a different trajectory. Not everybody's meant to always be with you.
No. And it's important to always see the good in everything. You know, even things that have been very challenging for me, I look at it a twofold. What did I learn and what's the good in it?
What's the blessing?
Yeah.
If you're spending hundreds on skincare but ignoring one of the most powerful anti-aging tools out there, you are missing out, my biohackers. I'm talking about red light therapy and Bond Charge's red light face mask. It has completely changed the game for me. Red light therapy isn't just another hype. It penetrates deep into the skin, boosting collagen, reducing inflammation, and easing signs of aging. And the best part, it's cordless, it's lightweight, and totally painless. So I can wear it while I'm getting work done, watching TV, or even making a quick smoothie for myself or taking my dogs for a walk. I've tried a lot of skincare treatments, and let's be honest, some of them are messy, others are time-consuming, or just plain uncomfortable. But this mask makes it so easy, just 10 minutes a day, and I've noticed my skin is brighter, clearer, and even more even-toned. No downtime, no hassle, and because Bond Charge products are HSA, FSA eligible, you can use your health-saving funds to invest in your skin. Trust me, you need this in your skincare routine ASAP. Right now, my listeners get 15% off when you order from bondcharge.com. Just use my exclusive code Biohack-it at checkout. That's bondcharge.com, plus you'll get free shipping and a 12-month warranty. Again, that's Biohack-it. Go grab yours now. Your skin will thank you later.
You always talk about women being magnetic. Can we tell the audience what that means?
Yes. So being magnetic is more than just a trending word. Being magnetic means that your energy is felt without saying anything. You know when you walk into a room and there's someone who is strikingly gorgeous, but their energy, something about their energy doesn't feel warm, it doesn't feel inviting, it doesn't feel magnetic. It is quite often underestimated that your energy actually speaks before you do when you walk into a room. People can lie all the time, but energy does not lie. People lie all the time, but energy doesn't lie. And the more you tap into yourself, the more you have a consciousness, the more that you are super aware of what's going around you all the time, you just, it's like clockwork. You can move through it with grace.
And when it's come to like, for your life, when it's come to personal relationships and stuff, have there been times that you're like, wait, Liz, this doesn't feel right to me, or you might be, whether it's family, whether it was, you know, an intimate relationship, anything like that. Have you been in positions that you're like, wait, this person's not speaking with integrity, this doesn't seem right to me? And then how do you show up? Because sometimes it's so scary to be like confronting people close to us, right? And like calling them out without disrespecting them. So how would somebody go about that? So if you're starting to listen to your intuition, you're starting to step into your power, you're starting to be magnetic, and people try to bullshit you, right?
Of course.
Because everybody is not in their integrity at all times.
Correct.
How do you address that?
I was just speaking about this with someone. I was told the other day, well, you always sound perfect and you're so articulate and you're so put together. Like, do you ever mess up? And my answer was, no, I never mess up. And it's not mess up in the sense that you think it is.
Yeah.
Of course I do things that I look back, I'm like, oh, well,
Shouldn't have said
perhaps
that,
that
shouldn't have
wasn't
done that.
the right way. However, it's more important for me to understand the why. The why. And no, I am not perfect by any means. In fact, all of my content, all of my teachings are because of everything I've experienced. So, you know, my great-grandfather, the Baba Sali, who was one of the most world-renowned Kabbalists, if you really dug into his story, you would see the extreme turmoil he was in, and his ability to create blessings was because he was able to understand the world at a deeper lens. So when we are meeting people or in relationships with people and we're questioning them, we also have to question ourselves. Why are we here? What in the universe, what in the frequency allowed me to have this person in my movie? Because like attracts like. Frequency has to be at the same level in order to meet someone, whether it's love, business, friendship, like there's something aligned there. So if you're looking at someone and you're really irritated by the way they're moving through life or how they do business or whatever it may be, if that's triggering you, you actually need to go within yourself.
And ask yourself, what is it about them that makes me remember things that either I haven't worked on, or shadows within myself, or mirrors within myself?
Correct.
But what if for people listening, you're like, I'm not ready to face all this stuff, then what do you do?
If you're not ready to face all of this.
Because it's uncomfortable. Growth is deeply uncomfortable, and not
severely
everybody,
uncomfortable.
not everybody's ready to walk that path, you know?
Yeah. If you're not ready and you choose to not do the work, the universe will eventually catch up and you will be brought to your knees.
And
at
it'll
one
keep
point
on
to do
giving you
it.
the lesson again and again until you learn to choose better.
Correct.
You also always
choose yourself.
And to choose yourself. You always say this thing that I love, and you say words are spells. Can we talk
Yes.
about the concept of that?
Yes. So, I love this topic. So the word abracadabra, most people don't know, stems from Hebrew. And abracadabra means as I speak, I create. And I always found that to be so powerful because I was like, wow, how true is that, right? You know, as you speak, the world around you is created. There's 3D, there's 4D, and then there's 5D. And in the 5D, everything's possible. There's multiple movies playing simultaneously. The 4D, the subconscious, allows it to all enter the 3D. So how do you, quote unquote, manipulate that? You speak what you want. So if you're looking at your life and you're like, oh, this is annoying. This divorce of mine is sucking the life out of me. How many times have we heard that? Or perhaps we've even said, this relationship is sucking the life out of me. This person, as you speak, you create. So even something simple as I corrected one of my guy friends this morning. He said about his daughter, he goes, the way she laughs kills me. And I put an asterisk, a star, and I said, the way she laughs brings me to life.
Yes.
It's just these small
Changes,
moments
that you want to correct yourself. And then for anybody who's listening over here as well, for women who are feeling disconnected from themselves, how can they reconnect with their inner voice, their inner intuition, their inner guidance?
Community. You need community. You can't do everything alone. If you think you can, you're wrong. You need community. That's why women back before technology and the way the world moves now, they had communities because they relied on one another. And quite often we get embarrassed to ask for help or to rely on a friend, but community is imperative to women's health. It's not just imperative to women's health, it's imperative to their well-being.
Because that's how we've always lived for
It's how we've always
hundreds
lived.
of years.
It's how we've always lived. And it is also important to have men in our lives because men bring so much beauty and so many things that we don't have strength-wise. And it's that beautiful balance of the yin and the yang. But you need community. B, you need your own spiritual, religious practice of whatever that is. And if you don't know what it is, I actually am creating a course to help break that down, to find your soul mission, how to connect to oneself, because it's so much more than just a few sentences, but it's imperative.
When we talk about soul mission, what are we talking about over here?
Soul mission for women means, why are you here on earth? What is your gift?
And each one of us is different.
We all have different gifts. My gift is the gift of voice. I would actually say you have a very similar gift. You have a gift of voice. It's very natural for you. It's very like, you don't have to think about it. You do it as you breathe. And that is a gift. It is important to find your gift because that gift is supposed to be highlighted because it also encourages other women to find their gift.
So it's so funny you're saying that. Sometimes when I go on other big podcasts or I'm pitching to a client and I'm not really good at rehearsing things, I'm just like a little bit on the fly, I always tell God to speak through me. I was like, whatever I'm meant to say, whatever I'm meant to put out there, may you come through.
Channel.
It's not about me. It's about being here for you and in service to you.
Correct.
And that's how I go into big pitches for clients at times. That's how I go on to some really big podcasts. I do what I'm supposed to prep. And then if the conversation goes in a certain direction, I'm like, I hope I don't sound like an idiot. Please help me out. Come through for me. And that's how it flows.
Yeah, always, but that's your gift.
People aren't talking about this enough, but I truly want to optimize your health. We need to be paying attention to EMFs. We are constantly plugged in, surrounded by wireless signals, radiation, frequencies that our bodies have never, ever been able to handle at this level. Research has shown that EMFs can disrupt sleep, impact cellular function, and contribute to long-term health issues. Yet we're rarely talking about this or how to protect ourselves from this. This is why I was so excited when I first discovered Lila Quantum Tech. I met them 2 years ago at a biohacking conference in Austin and was absolutely blown away by the founder, Philip Mon. Hearing him on stage and learning about quantum energy technology completely shifted my perspective. I knew I had to try it for myself. And now, 2 years later, I'm so excited to have them partner with me on my podcast. One of my absolute favorite products, the Heal 360 capsule, which I wear on my quantum necklace every day. This isn't just any pendant. It's scientifically designed and quantumly charged to support your body's natural ability to heal, energize, and protect itself from harmful influences. People using it have reported more energy, mental clarity, better stress resilience, and relaxation, deeper sleep, and faster recovery. And that is also the feedback I got from our supper club when I gifted it to all our guests. Lila Quantum Tech is leading the way in quantum frequency healing with products designed to neutralize EMFs, enhance cellular function, and help your body operate at its best. I personally felt the difference since wearing Heal 360 capsule, and I think you'll love it too. Check it out at lilaq.com and use code Biohack-it for a discount. That is LEELAQ.com and use code Biohack-it. Happy healing. And I was also going to say, for anybody who wants to sit back and be like, well, till your course comes out, how can I think about what my gift is? How can they think about that? Because some women have, and it's really sad, you know, some people have such low self-esteem, they don't realize every single one of us is unique, but every single one of us is precious and has a gift.
Yes. So one way that women can do this, because there are multiple things in my belief in order to find that. It's not just like a quick fix. Like, what should I do with my life? Oh, do this one thing and the answer will appear. But there is a beauty of spending time alone. And I'm not talking about spending time alone where you're just brushing your hair, doing your makeup. In order to understand what your gift is, why you're here on earth, you need to spend time alone and you need to speak to the universe and ask for signs. When I say ask for signs, I'm not talking about give me a sign that I'm supposed to do X, Y, and Z tomorrow. I'm asking the universe all the time, show me, put me on the right path. Ask and you shall receive. We always know this, right? We've heard these phrases and these sayings before, but it's only until we actually do it that we're like, oh, okay, that's why that saying exists. Spending time alone, even if it's in your car for 10, 15 minutes, universe, show me the way. Show me signs, show me my path, show me my strengths. Stop always asking other people. It's important to ask others, what do you think I do best at? Where do you think I highlight other people? Is my gift cooking? Is my gift teaching? But after doing that, spend time alone and speak out loud. Ask for signs.
I think we are so scared as women to be alone, and we always have entered this kind of pick-me culture. Like, oh, we think just because we get married and we get the ring and the guy chooses us is when we've come to our full expansion. And it's like, no, it has nothing to do with that. You need to pick you first. And a lot of women go through life, and I see this all the time. I see it on social media. I see friends who are single. It's this culture of like being like, well, if I just say less, if I just try to be a bit more perfect, I will be chosen. It's like, no, you don't want to be chosen for that. You want to be chosen for your authentic self.
Correct.
And you don't want to pretend and play the part, because then that you're starting those relationships on a facade, whether it's a job, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a romantic relationship. It can only begin with authenticity. You have to know yourself first.
Yes, you have to know yourself. And how do you know yourself? You have to spend time with people that don't look, act, and speak like you, because how are you going to understand who you are if you're always just around people who think like you? I don't believe that really gets you anywhere. It's important to go outside of your bubble. It's important to spend time alone. And it's important to surround yourself with community.
Yeah. And talking about community, guys, I think it's really important to have a diverse community in different pockets of friends. So you can have friends who come from your religious community and spiritual background. Then you have friends who are completely different that you might meet through work, or meet somebody, at a workout class. I think it's really important to diversify your echo chamber, because that is how it will open you up to other thoughts, ideas in the world, and also build tolerance.
Correct.
Because a lot of the time we're going through life so intolerant of somebody else's belief systems, practices, their background, and not understanding we all come into this world with our series of trauma.
And isn't the whole point of life to spend time with people that don't think and act like you? Because imagine the blessings you're going to bring them and the blessings that they're going to bring you. Isn't that the whole purpose of life, is to experience?
Yeah.
Is to experience things. And somewhere along the line, people got nervous to have different opinions and different thoughts.
Debate.
And
In a healthy way.
And it's not healthy to not want to express yourself and to say, well, why do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Share with me. I want to know. I think it's imperative for female friendships and for growth.
And you can agree to disagree. The beautiful thing, I think, look at us. We've been friends for like 5 years now. We agree on a lot of stuff. We don't agree on some things. And it's always giving each other the space to be like, I can see why you have that point of view. We may or may not agree on that specific thing, but I respect and love you enough to understand that from your perspective.
Correct.
But I think we become so intolerant as a society, and we live and breathe this weird tribalism that we're just so deeply just trying to protect ourselves that we don't have space for another who may disagree with us.
Correct.
And healthy debate is the backbone of a healthy society, because you know that you're still using your damn mind.
Yeah, that part. That part.
Have you ever been in a situation where you've always almost like walked away from work? Because you have such a good, strong work ethic, right? Has there ever been a time that you have felt overwhelmed or stressed and been like, I just can't do this anymore? I'm asking this because I want to quit some days.
No, I just shift.
Right.
I just shift. For me, it's not about like, do I want to quit this or if it's not feeling aligned, whatever I start, I finish.
Yes.
I really believe that.
See it through.
I was taught that as a child. If you start something, finish it and do it as well and as elegantly as possible. But it's less about quitting, more about realizing when something's not serving you and you're not serving it.
You know, that's a great way to look at things because there are times that I'm at work and I'm like, I literally call my managing director, who I'm very close to. She's been with me 4 years. I'm like, Lauren, are you accepting resignations today? And she goes, no. And I'm like, damn it. I was like, because I was looking to resign. She's like, sorry, it's your company. You can't. I'm like, damn it. Okay, I have to stick around. But there are days that I just get so exhausted. I'm like, and then I go back and I say, let me relook at this problem. Let me relook at this situation. Let me relook at what is the learning in this that I'm not picking up. You know, why am I feeling so deeply frustrated? How can I change my perception or how I'm even interacting with set clients, set employees, set person that is making me deeply frustrated?
Sure. I also always recall a moment. One of my good guy friends is an ER doctor, and he has explained so many times where he's in severe pain if someone passes on his table, and he's like, I feel like it's so out of my control. And I always, in moments that I'm stressed, whether it's business or personal, I remember that not everything is in my control. And if I showed up the best I could, I really did the best I could.
When it comes to your career trajectory, right? You went from being a superstar on TV, you're obviously great at public speaking, got into the beauty world, and now you're teaching Kabbalah literally online. You know, that's your family's teaching and
Kabbalah in a way that's not Kabbalah.
Cultish. Yeah. We're not doing what some people are doing online. We're being authentic.
I'm teaching it in a way where it doesn't.
You're not talking to people. You're talking with people.
For me, my spiritual wisdom and my love for female empowerment,
It's the same.
It's the same, and I blend it in a way that feels like you understand that I have the wisdom because I've studied it for a very long time, and it's within
you.
my blood.
Yeah.
But in a way that doesn't feel like overwhelming. Like we're friends. I'm speaking to you from experience and from wisdom.
What I love about the way you teach and show up online is the following. I think you're very humble. I think you're speaking to the person, not at them, which makes a very big difference because you're not like, oh, I'm higher than you. I'm better than you. You're like, listen, I'm here. I'm human. I've made mistakes. These are the learnings that I apply to me. This is what my soul's journey is currently experiencing, and I'm here to just bring that to you.
Yeah, I mean, after doing the TED Talk, I remember my coach for the TED Talk. I explained to him, I was like, this is very challenging for me to share such a personal story. And he's like, well, don't you teach authenticity?
Yeah.
I said, yes. And he was like, so shouldn't this be easy for you? I said, yes, it should,
Yeah,
but to share
not.
a personal story is deeply challenging. But once you break through that, once you understand that, especially when I teach in my seminars, I make women raise their hand if they're dealing with something. Have you ever been in a relationship where you've been emotionally or physically abused and half the room raises their hand? I said, so you probably thought that you might have been the only one here, but
Look at how many women.
look how many women are experiencing the same thing. So once you are authentic, once you are honest with yourself and others, you'd be shocked to see and hear how many people will not only align with that, but they'll feel more open and more honest with themselves and with you, which gives them such a sense of peace. And that is my mission, right? I want to help women to find that peace within themselves and then share that light onto others.
So what was the personal story on the TED Talk? Now we need to know.
The TED Talk was about how when I was living in LA, I was living in what was my dream home with the dream life, dream career, dream family, dream everything. And I felt like something was missing and I didn't know what it was because technically on a 3D level, I had everything that I ever desired that I didn't have as a child.
Lovely husband.
Everything. I had everything I've ever desired. I manifested it. But something was missing and it was my soul trying to speak to me that I was not connected at a soul level to myself. And that's when everything shifted. And that's actually when I started taking everything from not just physical aesthetics and helping women behind the scenes, but merging physical, mental, spiritual, and making sure that it felt more aligned.
As someone who's testing and always retesting for what works for my gut, immune system, and hormonal health, I definitely do not mess around with any probiotics that die before they even reach my gut. So this little guy, Just Thrive, is completely different. It is clinically proven to arrive 100% alive, survives antibiotics, and even helps to heal leaky gut in just 30 days. It beats bloat, helps with nutrition absorption, and turns your gut into an antioxidant factory. And it's the only probiotic I trust and recommend to my Biohack-it community. Check it out at justthrivehealth.com and use code Biohack-it for a discount and enjoy. If you look back at your life like where you are today, what has probably been one of the hardest moments, because sometimes it can be multiple, that has brought you to your knees?
Divorce. Divorce brings you to your knees. It humbles you.
Mm-hmm.
It challenges you in so many ways. I feel very lucky that mine ended in a way where we still respect one another so significantly. But everyone who's gone through divorce will tell you that's a very, very humbling moment. I used to be, prior to all the work I've done, I used to be very judgmental. And what happens, spiritual law says that when you are judgmental, it actually has to happen to you. So when women judge one another, they need to be very careful, because when you judge, the universe feels it, whether you are outward about it or not, and you will have to experience the same or something similar to that.
Because that is the lesson your soul has to go through and integrate into. And for women listening, sometimes women are stuck in relationships and they can't leave because sometimes they're not working. Their finances are tight. They're so scared of what's out there. They don't know. They're like, better the devil we know. A lot of women say that. Like, better the devil than we know. We're not fully happy or in love, but we're going to stick this out because we have kids, or we don't know what else is out there. What advice would you have for them?
Anger is simply fear unannounced.
Okay. Really?
So quite often, it's also the same as fear. Fear is anger unannounced, and these things will surface. And if you don't deal with it, it'll keep boiling and boiling until it gets to the top. And you'll start to get more angry and more angry, but that anger is just fear. In order to break through that fear, you have to go within.
But that's so hard to do when you're in the eye of the storm, when you're in the middle of it, and these feelings come up and you're like, what does the future hold? I don't know. I'm so anxious. Like, am I going to meet somebody? Am I not going to meet somebody? Is my life going to be okay? What am I going to do with my finances? What am I going to do about my lifestyle? When those neurotic thoughts are playing, it's like you can't make them stop at that moment, right?
This is something that I teach, whether I'm coaching one-on-one or corporate. Every woman has a certain area of her life where she's very certain. For me, I'm really certain I'm very talented at what I do. That certainty needs to be applied to another area. So for example, if a woman is really certain in her ability to be an incredible mother, she's like, I got this. This is a joke for me.
Yeah.
We meet women
Like that amazing
that.
woman we just met now who
I
has
was
4
just gonna
kids.
say.
I'm like, wait, what? It's like a
talked about
soccer
it-
team.
She talked about it like she was buttering bread.
Me and you we're like, wow, this woman is epic. Like,
But that certainty is what, if she's struggling with something else, that certainty, I would tell her, take that certainty and apply it to the same thing. And at first it'll feel very foreign. You'll think like, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, if the woman went to dental school, how many women would say, going to dental school, I couldn't go to med school?
yeah.
And she's like, no, it's easy.
Yeah.
You see this, Elon Musk thinks it's easy to go to the moon.
Yeah.
For him, he's just like, well, yeah, duh. Like,
So you're saying you have to make sure you're you make yourself that delusional. You believe your own delusion.
it's not even about believing delusion. If you have such certainty in one area of your life, you're more than capable
Of doing that in other places,
copying
right?
and pasting, copy, paste, copy, paste. And if you have to tell yourself and look in the mirror and say it,
Affirmations.
even if you don't believe it,
Yeah.
eventually the body and the mind don't know the difference from one another, so it follows suit.
So I said the delusion thing because I said you should go through life being so absolutely ridiculously delusional so you can manifest your best life. You need to be, in order to be successful, I think you should be a little delusional.
Yes, and the word, what's that saying where it's like you have to live in reality? I actually get very triggered when
all.
someone says, we have to live in reality. I'm like, well, what
Recreate
is
this reality.
What is reality
Yeah.
to you? Because the way I grew up is very different than the reality I live
But
today.
also, if you believe in the spiritual world and spiritual realms and that we live between different dimensions, which is a lot of teachings teach you, 3D, 4D, 5D, you know that your reality can be created, and what you experience externally is a reflection of your internal work and world.
Always. It's a hard pill to swallow because when there's moments that are happening and you're like, this is not what I anticipated.
Yeah.
So recreate the movie. Recreate the movie.
And what do you do when women are listening to this as well, or men actually, when people are dealing with narcissists or dealing with gaslighting?
Why do you attract it? What called that in? Why didn't you call in something healthy? And I'm not putting the blame on the woman. That's
No,
not
of
that's
course
not the
not,
intention. It's not like
But
it's
it's
your
something
fault.
that is unhealed from childhood a lot of
There's
the time.
something there that you have to pay attention to. Whenever I'm looking at someone else and I'm like, I'm angry at this person, this is a whoa.
Go within.
Again, recalibrate, pull in.
And going back to the conversation about divorce, right? You guys divorced in such a beautiful way. You guys are still very close friends. You're raising a beautiful son together. Do you think a lot of people can have what is called like unconscious coupling, like kind of what Gwyneth Paltrow went through,
yeah.
right? I mean, I know she had to do it for other
Yeah.
reasons as well, but
Yeah.
do you?
It's funny because when we were divorcing, he like doesn't know pop culture and like doesn't keep up with anything. And he was like, I saw this article and I was just like, wow, like he's just cool like that though.
Yeah.
I understand that's not everyone's situation. That's why I married this man. He's like, he's a great human. But I do believe in unconscious coupling.
Yeah.
But quite often I like to inspire people to act the way that I would want to act. So instead of saying to someone, I don't like this and you were horrible X, Y, and Z. And don't get me wrong, I've made mistakes. My ex and I have fought many times. People are like, well, were you guys just perfect? I'm like, absolutely not. We're divorced. Like, of course. But I like to inspire not just him, but other people in my life when they're not acting the way I want them to.
In integrity.
I want to inspire them to be the highest version of themselves because I want to inspire myself to be the highest version of myself at all times.
I believe the way you enter the relationship with love and honesty and integrity and wishing the best for the other person is in some ways how you need to leave a relationship.
It's how you should leave everything.
And I think the end is just as important as the beginning. Because when we are in the beginning, we're so high and we're so happy and all this stuff and we wish them the best and we want the best for them. Really breaks my heart when people don't want that at the end. And yes, you might have been cheated on, the person might have been abusive, they might have lied, but at the end of the day, send them off with love.
And time
Not
heals
for
a lot.
them, do it for yourself.
Time heals a lot. So it's also important to not be so hard on yourself.
Do you think our skin remembers trauma? I know our cells remember trauma. What about our skin? Because it's our biggest organ.
When we talk about biohacking all the time, what I love about you is you understand, like you're also obsessed with the science and the way things work and, oh my God, feed me all the information. But biohacking is not just about what you do, what we inject, peptides we
Absolutely.
inject, all the lasers. We have access to everything.
Yeah.
Thank God. Like we
Yeah.
really, like we have that access because that's also part of our gift, teaching.
Yeah.
But part of biohacking is understanding consciousness has everything to do with how you age. Everything to do with how you age. The way you speak has everything to do with how you age. So all these things, it's more than just an approach to injecting and lasers and physical health. That is imperative, but where is your consciousness?
And this is another thing. All of us come into this world, and I said this earlier, through our own range of traumas, right? Some of us have experienced us, some of us have experienced more. Where do you think people can start healing? Like 3 easy tips we can give people who are listening to be like, this is where you can start your healing journey. Keep it easy.
Step 1, listen to people that inspire you, whether it's here or someone else. Like find people that inspire you because you're drawn to their light for some reason. And by the way, you're drawn to their light, not because they're better than you, smarter than you. It's because you have that within yourself.
Because your frequency picked up on them.
It picked up on you because it's already within you. So when people are always telling me I'm so inspired by them, I'm like, you're inspired by yourself. I'm just a mirror back to you. That's it. Doing that, finding practices that align with you every single day, doesn't have to be hours, pockets of peace. Remember finding it throughout the day. to help regulate your nervous system, and community. Female community is imperative to health.
With all the coaching and stuff that you've done as well, one-on-ones, is there maybe a story of a really transformative client that you worked with? We don't have to obviously give names.
I know, I'm like,
yeah. Can we
there's
share
so
with
many
people? Yeah, that you were
stories.
like, wow, this person came in feeling like absolute shit, and then they grasped their own power and they came out on the other side.
I mean, that always happens. I mean, that's my job, right? I mean, it better always happen. They say it does. So I'm hoping it does. For me, the takeaway when I see them more confident, even if it's 20% more, it's usually
Step in the right
significantly more.
direction, yeah.
But any sense of confidence to rely less on others, including myself, and to rely more on themselves, my job is done.
If you know me, you know I avoid seed oils like the plague. They're everywhere, even in snacks labeled as clean, organic, or healthy. But the truth is, they wreak havoc on your metabolism, your hormones, and make you super inflamed. That's why I'm obsessed with Prima, one of the few products I completely trust. Prima was created to push back against processed artificial foods and bring us back to real, nutritional, ancestral ingredients that actually nourish your body. It's packed with 100% grass-fed beef tallow, grass-fed collagen, and grass-fed whey protein, delivering bioavailable nutrients for muscle recovery, joint health, and overall vitality without any of the junk. No seed oils, no refined sugars, no artificial additives, and the best part is one of the few products that is certified seed oil safe. I always keep Prima stocked in my bag. It's my go-to post-workout, between meetings, or anytime I need an easy, high-quality protein boost. Getting in at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight can be really tough, but it's essential for building and maintaining muscle as you age or going through a fertility journey in your 40s and 30s like I am. And the flavor is delicious. Cacao, mocha, and salted caramel. You really can't go wrong. My favorite flavor is the salted caramel, plus the Prima bars are sweetened with organic raw honey and only contain organic whole food ingredients. So you're fueling your body with real clean nutrition. Because you're part of the Biohack-it community, you get 20% off. Just use code IMAN20 at eatprima.com. Ditch the seed oils, fuel your body right. You will feel the difference, I promise.
And is there somebody who when you look back at this story, whether it was a friend, a colleague, somebody who coached with you, that they had a really transformative experience? And everybody obviously transforms in different ways, but something that almost inspired you even? Like it almost left you with a lesson.
There's so many stories. So it's like, and I don't want anyone to feel like I'm sharing
Yeah,
theirs.
yeah. No, I'm asking. So, I obviously go for ayahuasca.
They're gonna be like, that's my story.
Yeah, you're
Liz.
like, don't share. No, I'm asking because, I've been doing ayahuasca for many, many years. And, the group that I sit with, it was a year ago. And, one of our dear friends was having a lot of issues with his son. And, he is the only child, has issues with depression, anxiety, other things. And this man has been coming for ceremonies for about 10 years. And finally, he had a breakthrough with his son. Beautiful. And the son started getting better. The son got a job. He was in this toxic relationship. He left the relationship, improved the relationship with the parents, all of that stuff. And I remember sitting in one of these ceremonies saying, you can get everything you pray for as long as you're willing to meet yourself at that point of prayer.
Correct.
And you see it. You see these incredible transformations all the time in the plant medicine community and other communities. But the problem is where we fall out is we reach that milestone and we're like, oh my God, we feel so high on that frequency and stuff, but then we forget to do the daily work every single day to continue that growth.
Correct. Because it's not like it's
doesn't
not just a one-off.
No.
You can't expect
Of course not.
one-offs to carry you through. It's exactly like working out. It's a muscle. In fact, the more you are tuned in, the harder it becomes, but it also becomes fun. Because you start to look at everything like, what was that? What's that lesson? What's that mirror? And you start to realize we really are in the matrix.
Yeah.
And it becomes a fun game where you're like, I want to get to the next level of my soul. What can I learn from this?
I want to transcend.
What's that lesson? What's that teaching? And it just keeps getting more and more. And if you look at it in a sense, in a lens that's not negative, where you're like, life's trying to beat me down. Or maybe life believes that you are so capable that your soul can evolve so much that you're thrown more tests. The higher the soul, the more tests it's given.
And how do it, when we just talked about this a little bit earlier, but when women are struggling with showing up with their authenticity online, right? Because this is fine balance of being like, I don't want to share everything going on in my personal life, but how do I inspire other women? You do a great job of it. Sometimes I get into this mindset of like, I'm more of like a founder than a creator. I was like, do people really want to hear from me? Do they want to hear my story? Like, how do you, like, tell me, I need the inspiration right now. How do I break out of that mindset?
Well, first off, social media is not for everyone. Like, I've been trying to get my mom and my best friend, my mom's a teacher, my best friend's a lawyer, to do social media forever. For some people, it's just not for them, and that's okay. But if you do feel a calling to it, you have to remember that there is an audience for everything. There are plumbers that are teaching people how to plumb, and I'm always inspired by that because I'm just like, wow, like how cool is that? They're like, hey, like you probably don't know how to do this because no one ever taught you.
But let me show you.
But let me show you. There's an audience for everyone, and there's learning in everything. So every time that you feel silly or stupid sharing something online, someone is listening to it and they're inspired by it. When my great-grandfather died, there was no social media. He's from Morocco, and when he died, people from all over, the hundreds and thousands of people went to his gravesite. And he was an influencer before influencers existed.
We're a thing,
And he was able to do it because of his integrity, because of his authenticity, and because of his ability to create blessings and miracles everywhere he went, because he actually cared. If you can keep that thought process and move through life in a way where you are constantly trying to create miracles and constantly trying to share your light, you'll always win.
Right.
You'll always win, because when you're down, someone will help you up. When you are growing, you're only going to attract more magnetic presence and more people onto your team, into your world. So just show up in a way that feels really good for you, whatever that is: plumbing, teaching, public speaking. If you're a public speaker, go online and talk. If you're a teacher, go online and speak. And then share portions of you as to why you care, how you got there, and you'll be shocked as to how many people will care. I started social media during COVID thinking, what am I doing? I'm on TV. I don't even know how to do this.
Yeah.
And now my platform blew up
And in
simply
the last
because
2 weeks, you've picked up, like, I think, how much was it? Like,
I'm at 37,000 more than I was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm at over 600,000 collective on 2 platforms.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Simply by teaching
and just being yourself.
what I love and what I've had to experience, whether I wanted to or not.
And when it comes to filtering out people from your life, because you obviously have had to do that. So when your soul goes through these evolutions and you get stronger, obviously some people stay and then some people have to leave.
Yes.
How do you filter people out? How do you do those like energetic breakups?
I look at it in the way that when I am with this person or when I'm thinking about them, how does my body respond and how do I feel? That's all you gotta know.
Because if your nervous system feels unsafe with somebody, by the way, women, if you're listening and you're meeting a guy, those are not butterflies. That's your nervous system sounding the alarm bell saying, get the hell out of there.
A therapist said that to me once.
Not butterflies. It's your nervous system saying this person is not good for you and it's going to show up as an aggressive lesson. But when it, and if for people listening, they're like, what does a calm, regulated nervous system look like? Is it a feeling just safe? Is it your breath slows down? You're able to speak more slowly? What is it?
It's a multitude of things. For me, personally, I can't speak for everyone, but for me, I have a sense of comfort around them.
Like they feel like family.
Do something glamorous with them, but I could sit in sweats with them. I could talk about business or I could talk about
spirituality.
It's a sense of comfort. And that's for me. Remember, this looks different for everyone's lens. But for me, it's that comfortability that I look for, like that ease. Yeah. It's a sense of ease.
For me personally, it is to be able to let my guard down and not be the woman I have to be at work or be on social media and just be my true authentic self. And sometimes that person's a little bit of a mess. And sometimes that person calls you and says, hey, Liz, I just need a friend to talk to right now because I'm overwhelmed. And it's that person who comes over to someone's house in sweatpants and says, I just want to sit here and I want a hug. That's it. That is what safety means to me, and to be able to show up as my authentic self, and I will still be loved and adored just for being Iman, not Iman with her connections.
As a human.
As a human, not Iman with a marketing background, not Iman on social media, just simply
a human
as
being.
Iman.
Yeah.
That's it. And being loved, accepted, and cherished just in that essence of who I am, in my core.
And we crave that. We need it. We don't crave it for no reason. Women crave it because we know that it's imperative to feel that sense of safety.
And I don't think it's easy for us. A lot of us have built up so many walls because we've had trauma and stuff. I know I have. You know, we were talking about how you are an anxious attachment style and I'm an avoidant attachment style. And guys, if you're interested, there's an incredible book called Attach that you have to read. It's written by these therapists.
So many people have said this.
It is amazing. And it talks about these different attachment styles that we develop as children and how those attachment styles dictate as we become adults how we choose romantic relationships or friendships, and how, unless we understand our childhood traumas and really make peace with it, we will continue attaching ourselves in the wrong way.
Over and over.
The goal is for all of us to become secure attachment, but we have these triggers. And by the way, you can shift. You can be an anxious style with one person, but then you can go into an avoidant in another.
Choose to change.
Right? And so it shows you how we can navigate ourselves. But I always find it fascinating.
Which also goes to show you can be spiritual like you and I, and
still have work to do.
Work to do.
All the time. Sometimes I'm like, why am I being this avoidant person and just like burying my head? And I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. But that's where the work comes in. And so.
But you do the work.
Yeah. I mean, I try to do the work as much as I can.
And but you're aware.
Yeah,
you're
of
like,
course.
I'm doing the work as best as I can, and you're aware.
As the best that I can do it.
Awareness is key.
Yeah. Like, I'm really honest. Like, do I get up and have an hour to myself and take a red light and meditate every morning? No, I cannot. And should my nervous system be a little bit more regulated? Yes. But is it getting better? Absolutely. I'm consciously talking to myself more and more. Yesterday, I woke up and I said to myself, I'm going to start investing all of this energy I put into other people into myself. And I'm going to put it back into me. And I'm going to make sure that I'm absolutely the best version of myself for me, not for anybody else to pick me. And every time my head goes somewhere else, I'm like, no, Iman, stop it. We had a pep talk with ourselves this morning.
That's exactly it, right? Catching yourself. That's it. That's what I look for when I'm coaching women. Catch yourself so that you eventually don't need me to catch you. And for anyone even listening to this is really important for them to understand. Like, you're catching yourself.
Yeah.
That's evolution, because most people are not even aware. So once they're aware and then they're catching themselves, that's such an identity shift to be able to do that.
And you and I speak about this all the time, right, off camera, about you can manifest anything you want in your life as long as you wish for that with integrity and you're willing to do the work to show up to the version of you that is required to meet that life that you're asking to bring in.
Manifesting isn't just saying, I want a $10 million home, like make it happen. That's not manifesting. Manifesting is putting it out into the universe, but then also implying through thought, through action, that's the place you actually want to get to.
And also, I think it's really important to understand the why. So if you want the money, which, by the way,
who doesn't want?
Yeah, who doesn't want? Well, some people have a really toxic relationship with money. They're scared of it or they think it's the enemy. I think having a healthy relationship with money is really important, but I think you have to also understand the why. If you want that marriage, why do you want that marriage? What is it going to make you feel? If you want that money, what are you going to actually do with that money, not only for yourself, but for community, for others? How are you going to help people?
How are you going to share the light?
Consciousness with the universe, that exchange is very important.
Correct. And back to the notion that some women find money to be the root of evil, et cetera, that's such an interesting notion to me, because spirituality, specifically Kabbalah and the way I was raised, was the intention of understanding that whatever you desire, it exists there because the desire is within you and it's for you. Money, intimacy, love, all these things it's not evil. It's not.
No, of course
it's not bad. The way you choose to use something is what ultimately drives how you're moving through it. But having it all is not a negative thing. I want it all.
Of course. Why not? Why would we not? I think God never gives you a desire or a thought unless he wants you to actualize that and realize that and live that. So these little desires in us or thoughts come up as a way for our soul to remind ourselves what we're able to draw in. And we need to lean into that, because when we don't is where we get sick, we get depressed, we're anxious, because we're living out of embodiment of our soul's journey.
Beautifully said.
Liz, I love you. When is your course coming out? Tell me. I want to know when my community can start purchasing your courses.
I'm actually working on it right now with the move. I will be shooting it here in the studio.
And what are the 3 courses you're going to be releasing?
So it's going to actually be, I haven't decided whether it's 6 to 8, But basically all the topics around female empowerment, consciousness, all the things that women see on my social, the content that they love the most, I'm building out on that. So 4 ways to instantly get respect, ways to find your soul mission, how to align with yourself and those around you, all the content that you're seeing, I'm basically building out on it and expanding on it. So the course will really be more in depth of those
All these core
very
pillars.
short little clips that you see on social.
And where can people then purchase it?
So that will be on the website and
Amazing.
that will be launched and
Well, we need to do a live
aired
session.
hopefully soon.
Aired hopefully soon, and we need to do a live session of these courses. We
Yeah,
need to
it will be.
do a whole live series of events with you.
I'm really excited.
I'm excited for you.
It's all basically everything I've learned, all the wisdom I've acquired from my great grandfather's
and
teachings.
we'll continue to acquire.
And will continue to acquire and, God willing, help a lot of women along the way.
I love you and I love all the work that you do. And thank you for coming on to Biohack-it.
Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to Biohack-it. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a short review. It really helps us reach more listeners just like you. Follow us on Instagram at biohack-it for exclusive content and the latest updates. Remember, your health is in your hand and curiosity heals.